This Black Friday, there's tons of deals available for you to find, whether it's on B&H, Adorama, even Best Buy, or even maybe even your local camera store. So in this video and in this live stream, I'm going to show you some of the best deals that I found, as well as give you some tips that you need to know in order to understand before buying any brand new camera. So if you're watching the live stream, please leave a comment or a message in the chat. I'll get to it at the end of this video, but if you're watching the replay, leave a comment down below. Maybe I can answer it later on in another video. So let's go ahead and get started. So first of all, thank you guys, and I appreciate you for joining me in this live stream. Let's see, we got Growing Together podcast. My fiance is over here in the chat. But I just wanted to touch on some of the deals that I found while researching my last video that's actually live on the channel now. And it's the common things that you need to understand when it comes to buying anything brand new. So what I like to do first, especially when it comes to buying anything brand new, whether it's a camera or even a light or whatever the case is, you definitely need to understand that there are some misleading deals out there, especially in the technology industry. I don't know why that is, but mainly people just trying to make money, obviously, right? Especially on Amazon. But just be aware that there's bundles and other things that may not be worth it for you to buy in the end. So just understand that before getting started, especially buying something brand new. The other thing too as well is that don't forget about taxes. Taxes are probably one of the biggest things, especially when it comes to getting something new, is that, you know, that's probably one of the things that pretty much in any country that you live in, you're going to get taxed on whatever it is that you're buying. So you're always going to end up not avoiding taxes, especially that. And don't forget that stock can run out on a lot of these things, usually within the first few hours, if not a day after the Black Friday deals are announced. So just keep that in mind. But don't worry, a lot of companies, especially like B&H and Adorama, like they tend to actually have items left aside for other deal days like Cyber Monday, as well as one of the least known weeks, or if not months, when it comes to camera deals, and that is the beginning of January. I touched that on that other video that I created and why that is, but let's go ahead and start with what I like to do. What I like to do first is I go to pretty much any website that sells cameras that's obviously an authorized dealer. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to obviously have all your websites linked up here like I do, even Amazon as well, and just start looking up the camera you want, or start by seeing what deals are available. So for example, we can hit this little photography button here, go to the digital cameras, and if you're looking for a specific camera, you're going to definitely want to select the make and model of that camera. So for example, if I was wanting to see what Panasonic had available and was on discount, and I would obviously just hit the Panasonic button there. As of right now, the GH6 is $500 off. Pretty good. $100 off here, you can see. And $500 off for the S5. That's actually pretty nice. One other thing to note too, and a lot of people say, oh, the regular price is a lot higher than the sales price. Well, the regular price that you see, at least on these authorized websites like Amazon, B&H, and Adorama, is that's the actual MSRP for when the camera was released, or sometimes it's actually moved down depending on the manufacturer's suggested retail price. After certain cameras come out, they'll tend to adjust that. So just keep that in mind, that this isn't like an elevated high price. It's just the fact that this is literally the MSRP for the camera when it came out. Since this is a brand new camera, that's the MSRP. So this $500 off you're gonna get, that's off just the body itself. I know, at least for me, for my own, like for what I would need, especially when it comes to cameras, I tend to gravitate towards just buying the body itself, because I already have lenses. So I'm actually using my G7 right now to shoot this. So if I needed to actually use this camera, I would actually have to get another lens or even possibly an adapter in order to make it work. But as far as Panasonic, they do have, they have the S5 for sale. They have some other entry-level cameras like this one right here. If you're like a first-time entry-level person, this would probably be something that you would gravitate towards. These like these cameras that have the built-in lens and everything already good to go. The G95, I've talked about this camera on my channel before, and I still think it's a good deal. especially if you're a first time entry level, somewhere in the middle, you know, you're not a professional, but you're looking to get something that's good for both. And this is definitely a hybrid camera, and it does have a lot better recording capabilities. This actually shoots in V-Log L, which is a better color profile. I believe it even has it listed up here too as well. Yeah, this definitely shoots in V-Log L. I remember researching this camera. Yeah, it shoots in V-Log L. It's already pre-installed because normally you actually have to pay for this. I believe on certain Panasonic cameras you do have to pay for that, but in this case, it's already pre-installed. It's a good camera. If I had to upgrade my G7 and I found this, I would definitely consider that. Let's go back. All right, so as far as for Panasonic deals go, you get the G85. I already talked about the S5, and these were those bundle deals I was referring to. In this case, this may or may not be worth it depending on the cost of this. These usually go for like $50 nowadays. And then this camera bag, whether you need that or not, maybe or maybe not worth it. And it also comes with the lens too. It comes with the, what is it? Yeah, 20 to 60. So it might be worth it for you. And the GH6 with the camera bag, G7C, the G7 still on sale. They still make it brand new, which is why it's obviously still on sale. And this is actually about the lowest I've ever seen it go for is actually about $100 cheaper than this, but I don't think we'll be seeing those prices anytime soon because of inflation. So these were, the last time I saw this was I think at the beginning or end of 2020, I believe. It was when I saw it for $497, brand new, not used, brand new. The GX85 is another good camera, another entry level, mid to entry level camera. It does have interchangeable lenses. It also shoots in some other like color profiles like Cine D and whatnot. And is there any way, okay, so Growing Together podcast asks, is there a way you can make sure the actual MSRP and it's not marked up? All right, so that's a great question to ask. When it comes to the MSRP, one thing to understand, again, especially on B&H and even on Adorama, we'll look up the, like for example, we'll just look up the GH5, actually the GH6. And one way to check is obviously, see, $21.97 is to check other websites, but also I use the Wayback Machine. And the Wayback Machine, it allows you to check the actual price of the camera when it was actually released, obviously. So in this case, we'll look up, for example, let's just go to bnh.com. This is actually how I did the research when it came to me researching the prices of the cameras before they launched, and to see the price changes on that video that's on my channel now. Because there's really no other way to check it, because websites often update their listings for their prices all the time, so it's really hard to see. But for example, like this camera, let's go to the GH6, right? The GH6 came out this year in 2020, so, or 2022, sorry. So we can actually see, and then we can actually copy the link for the website. There's actually a plugin for this you can get for Chrome. I just don't have it installed. And here it gives you all the dates of when it was. Here, let's go to January 2022. Actually, looks like the earliest snapshots in February. This camera, I believe, was announced. It's in CES in 2022, but then obviously released like a month later. Yeah, see, new item coming soon. Yeah, when it comes to new releases, there's always updates on things. But yeah, the Wayback Machine is a great way to see. Let's see, in March when someone took a snapshot and saved this. Yeah, see, so new release. So when this camera came out, again, this is the MSRP, and that's one way to see if the camera isn't marked up, is to obviously use this website. It all depends on obviously when it was archived, so that's why you got to check the dates. But this is the MSRP. And this is a really good way, obviously, to check to see if anything's ever marked up, whether it's cameras or other technology. Especially on Amazon, you'll see that often. People will mark up the prices. And we'll get to Amazon in a second. But I just wanted to finish up here with B&H first. And then we'll go over to Adorama and see what other deals they have there. But as for Panasonic, I think actually I've pretty much gone through all of the ones that I've seen that were on sale for Black Friday. Again, you see some cameras go on sale, you know, minus $500. Save $100 here and there, $200. The best deal for sure has been on the GH6. But but it depends on what you're looking for. The GH5 is another good camera that I would highly recommend. I don't see it here, but I think is it sold out? Yeah, -$200. So this is just for the body itself. Like something like this, I wouldn't recommend this microphone, even though I use a Rode microphone. This one is not the best and it has a lot of interference. Maybe the battery, but paying an extra, what, a little over $200 from the discounted price, even on B&H, you'll see misleading sales. So just be aware of that again. And on Adorama, let's actually look at what they have for sale. We already know that they all are brand new cameras when it comes to the prices that you find online. Every single authorized dealer of that specific camera brand actually has to have their prices set across the board. So you'll see the same prices. And if you don't, that's a kind of a red flag, especially if it's a new camera. I highly wouldn't recommend it. It might be a bootleg camera, so I would not recommend going for something like that. So yeah, so let's look at what they have for Sony. Let's just click on, usually they have a little thing down here you click on. Let's see what they have for Sony. I know a lot of you guys love Sony. Let's see. All right, so well, this is actually isn't yeah, this is a new. Oh no, this isn't the new. This isn't the new A7R5. The new R5 is that's the brand new camera. I highly doubt they would have that on sale right now. They have the R4. Great camera, full frame. As you know, Sony has some of the best autofocusing systems available built into their cameras. This isn't actually that bad of a price for these, especially if you're looking to buy it new. I know for a fact the A7 II, if you really want a good deal, is on sale right now. So that is probably one of the best deals that I've seen so far. When I was doing the research for that video, yeah. Body only, $16.98, not bad at all. And again, you'll see this across the board. This actually comes with the kit. Oh, actually, that's the A7 III. But if you're looking to get something that's full frame, decent for video, doesn't shoot 10-bit or anything like that, but it's pretty decent for video, I would highly recommend going for the A7 II. Again, these bundle deals, do you really need all those things? Probably not. So just remember that fact. Growing Together says, do you think it's smarter to buy a camera during Black Friday or when older models go on sale in January? That is a great question. I think that when it comes to these sales days towards the end of the year, you will see better sales in January, but possibly it all depends on the manufacturer and on what they want their cameras to go on sale for. Brand new cameras, obviously, new used cameras you'll find for sale on websites all the time. But new cameras, I would probably wait either beginning of January, or if you really want something now and you don't want to wait, you can start getting something right now. That's just my opinion. Some people will probably say just to get whatever you can right now, but you'd be surprised that right after CES, after the new cameras are announced, or even right before, sometimes is you'll see these cameras go on sale. You also were looking at the A7 III and not the 2. Can you show the prices for the? Oh yeah, so the A7 II, I believe. Oh wait, you're right. It did not come up. A7 II. Yeah, so the A7 II. Oh, it's because it keeps. Yeah, sorry, my computer's a little slow right now. I'm asking a lot out of it, but yeah, the A7 II was a lot cheaper. Yeah, here we go. You're right. A7 II. It was on sale. Maybe it ran out on Adorama. That could be a possibility. Here we go. So the A7 II with a lens, less than $1,000. You can't beat that. Switch over to that camera. So the A7 II, yeah, great deal. Again, $998 with the lens. So you have everything you need plus a battery. Obviously, most of these cameras come with a battery, and so you'll be good to go when it comes to that. And if you want it without the lens, and because you already have a bunch of Sony lenses, great deal. Again, this camera is pretty good straight off the bat, just for photography purposes. Great full frame sensor. For video, as far as for video goes, you get obviously in-body stabilization. You get Sony's widely known autofocusing system. And like again, for video, isn't the best. It's 8-bit, and you get a clean HDMI out. So if you're live streaming, obviously if you want that, you can go with that as well. I believe this camera does not shoot in 4K, so that's the one thing why I said it's probably not the best for video. Yeah, see, it does not shoot in 4K. It's all 1080p or 1440 by 1080p internal recording modes. So yeah, but yeah, that's a little, actually less than well, actually a little more than 1080p. But yeah, you're not going to get 4K in the A7 II, but it is a good camera for photography. You get the full use of the sensor when you're shooting photos, obviously. With any camera, you get full use of the sensor. So this could be a good camera for streaming purposes. It all really depends on what you're going to be using it for at the end of the day, obviously. So for those of you looking for a deal for photography cameras, that's a great deal right there. So let's see. Let's see whether cameras are on sale. Let's go ahead and check. Let's go back to B&H. Actually, let's go to the front page here. What are they listing here for digital cameras? The R6, the R5, and these are some high-end cameras. If you're on a budget, where you really want to actually sort by low to high. Obviously, we're not going to get the cheapest cameras available, but if you're on a budget, you're going to want to definitely look at, if you want a camera for $123, I guess. But let's see. Oh, here's some entry-level cameras, but none of these are actually on sale right now. They just have them listed for those prices. Oh, the G100 is another camera by Panasonic that's on sale right now. It does have Vlog-L already pre-installed as well, like the G95, and it's a little smaller. It is definitely geared more towards those individuals, those of you guys that are looking to just to get started with like some content creation here on the side or whatever the case is. But it's a good camera overall. It's same technology, same sensor, I believe, from the G95. It's just a smaller body. Yeah, a lot of, again, Panasonic always has sales on their cameras throughout the year. Oh, the A6000, that's another camera, but it already has, oh, it doesn't have a built-in lens. This actually is a removable lens. The M50, if it's available, yep, it's not available, it's out of stock. I've noticed that the M50's been out of stock for quite some time now. The G7X, I've talked about that camera before, but it's not on sale. So right now, Panasonic's or Canon T7, this kit, maybe, if you're into photography, getting started, the T7 is a pretty good camera. Oh, the ZV-1 is actually on my list here that I wanted to talk about. It's actually down in the description, although obviously all the cameras that I have talked about so far are linked down in the description of this video down below. So if you guys actually want to see them for yourself, have a look down there. So the ZV-1 is actually a camera that is on sale right now, and it all really depends on what you need at the end of the day, but it's a good camera overall. It has the ability for you to shoot in 4K too as well. The other thing, I would compare the ZV-1 to like an A6400, but with you not having the ability to actually remove the lens, obviously. So this one you can't remove the lens. The ZV-10, on the other hand, great camera if it's available, because of the fact that a lot of these cameras are probably out of stock. I know the ZV-10's been out of stock for quite some time. Yeah, the E10, here it is. Oh, actually, it's in stock. So I would definitely compare this camera to a 6400 or even a 6300. You have the ability to change the lenses out. A lot of content creators have been talking about this camera for the whole time throughout the year since it's come out. So it's a good camera. I would honestly highly recommend it for like streaming, or if you're looking to shoot content like I do, it would be a great upgrade even for me. One thing I love about Sony is the fact that their autofocus system is, you just can't get any better. It can't get any better with Sony, especially when it comes to autofocus. Canon would be the other manufacturer of cameras that has a pretty decent autofocus system. Growing Together podcast says she wants a ZV-1. Again, the ZV-1 is a great camera. I would definitely recommend it for like those situations where you just need a camera really quick and point it out and shoot. That's what it's designed for. It's designed for entry level individuals or entry level purposes, but it all really depends on what you want to do at the end of the day. And let's look at our local camera store now. So when it comes to local camera stores, you'll often notice that, especially in a town like where I live in Las Vegas, is that they have sales, but remember their stock is whatever they have in stock, and once they're out until whenever they actually obviously reintroduce or get more product in. So BNC is my local camera store, not to get confused with Best Buy or B&H, but they have sales, but again, they run out of stock pretty quickly because people like to get something right now, obviously, especially if it's going to be the same price that you get at your local, obviously, well, not your local, but at the same price you get at Amazon, obviously. So yeah, so as far as for cameras at your local store that you might find, they again have the same prices. They again have the same prices that you find at your local. They again have their same prices that you find on Amazon or whatever the case is. So you got your A7 III. We're just looking at that a second ago. And let's can we shop by brand here too as well? We should be able to shop by brand. Panasonic. Let's see. Yes, they have the GH5S, the G6, the GH5 Mark II, which I believe I knew someone that literally just bought this. They commented on my video and said they just upgraded to this from the G7. Again, the GH5 is a great camera. I would highly recommend it. That would probably be a camera I would be considering to get in the future. And as you can see, they have the same exact sales prices that you find on pretty much any other authorized dealer brand new cameras when it comes to brand new cameras. So let's stop looking at Panasonic now. Let's go ahead and look at Sony. Show by, actually let's look at Canon. Let's see what they have for sale on Canon. Yeah, see again, oh, they actually have the M50 in stock. Oh wow, so if you're looking to get an M50, I would highly recommend looking at your local camera store. I believe they also ship too, so check them out. It's BNC Camera. If you're looking for the M50 in white, and they also have it in black with the bundle in stock. The R10 is a new camera. It's an APS-C size sensor in this camera. It also does shoot 4K 60. This actually is not a bad price with the kit lens that it comes with. 18-150. It is a 18-150 f3.5 to s6.3. So you don't get like really wide aperture. It'd be good for photography purposes. Let's see what else they have. The RP is also on sale too as well. These content creator kits, I've always been interested to see whoever actually ever buys these. I've seen them pretty much. Well, this is actually the R7 content creator kit, so that's like the upgraded version of the M50's content creator kit, basically. So let's see, the M6, also another great camera, sold out. This one actually comes with, oh wow, this one actually has a viewfinder on the top. I remember seeing that camera before. But yeah, as you can see, obviously you have certain sales on cameras and whatever the case is. A7 IV. And on Amazon, let's check Amazon, because Amazon, as you know, all my products are linked to Amazon, by the way. I am an affiliate of theirs. So anything that you click on down there, I may get a kickback from it. But I was going to check to see what they had for Black Friday deals on cameras. The last time I checked, they didn't have much. I mean, a lot of the deals you find on Amazon are actually going to end up being the same deals that you find on these other websites. So camera and photo, you can't sort by price. I guess we'll just have a look from here. DSLR, Canon DSLR, G Master lens. I think this is like $100 off last time I checked. All right, the EOS R probably would be another camera. Let's see. Just the R itself. It looks like it's sold out, or there's an error on their website. Been having issues all day with Amazon for some reason. The S5, they might have been out, honestly, they might be out of stock. That's the only reason maybe why I'm having issues with their links, or Amazon's having some problems on their end. GH5 Mark II. Let's see. With the lens, nice. Yeah, it looks like there's an issue on Amazon's end, but Best Buy, let's have a look at Best Buy now. Let's see what they have for sale on Sony cameras. I mean, obviously all this technology here, so A7 II. Let's see if they have that. Let's actually see if they have the A7 II priced at the same price, which they should. They actually don't have it priced at the same price. No, I don't want to take your survey. Wow, it's interesting. So Best Buy actually does have a little bit marked up from when you find it on, for example, even Adorama. Oh, actually, not Adorama, B&H. Yeah, I see $9.98. I mean, by $1, Tom, the biggest. If you really want it, you just end up paying $1 more. But yeah, not bad, not bad at all. But as you can see, what you really want to do, especially when it comes to like just finding cameras, is just check every single website, especially if you're stuck on wanting to get that one specific camera, whether it's Sony camera, Panasonic, or even a Nikon. In this case, Nikon has another great deal too as well that you'll be able to find when you look them up accordingly. The Z series is their new camera series. Some of these actually aren't even available yet. The Z9, this is actually supposed to go on sale. Actually not go on sale, but it's supposed to be coming out early January. This camera was announced last year, so over 14 months ago was when it was announced. The Z7 is in stock. I've heard decent things about these, especially when it comes to video features. They actually have decent video features now. It took them a while to fully understand the industry. So now they have some decent cameras that are available. Would I use one? If I had the ability to, I probably would. What about lenses? What lenses are your top picks? Growing Together podcast says. So when it comes to lenses, I was on the wrong camera the whole time. So when it comes to lenses, I would highly recommend thinking about first what your needs are. I know that lenses are expensive, especially for Sony cameras, extremely expensive. Or any other camera, actually, even Canon's latest RF lenses that are available, that are proprietary for the new system, they can get pretty expensive. I would recommend, obviously, based on what your needs are, again. So if you're a photographer, you may want to get prime lenses based on your needs. So if you want a certain look or style and you want to be able to shoot wide open, that's where I would recommend looking at getting prime lenses, which let's see what's on sale, for example, for Sony. Actually, just go back to here. Let's look at the front page. So for lenses, mirrorless lenses, and let's shop by Sony. With Sony too, as well, as you have the ability to use third-party lenses still to this day. But for lenses that are on sale, again, I would recommend looking at the prime lenses like these, but they're pretty expensive. But with Sony, like I mentioned a second ago, is you're able to actually use third-party lenses. So you can actually get a decent deal on some of these. So are these, it's for Nikon. Oh, here we go. So the Sony E-mount. I mean, these are some, again, also the other thing too is to consider is you got to make sure that it's designed for your sensor. There's some lenses that are E-mount, but they're designed for APS-C. So you want to make sure you get the right lens. As far as my top picks go, man, if budget wasn't an option, I would consider the G Master 24-70. And this is the second generation G Master. This would be a great pick for those that really want an all-around lens. And it's good for photography and video, designed for photography in mind. There's a lot of there's like a little button next to, I was on the wrong camera again. There's a little button next door on the side here. I would highly recommend the G Master if you're looking to get a lens for a Sony camera. It's a great all-around lens. Again, like I mentioned, it's a 24-70. It's an f2.8. Again, if not prime lenses, like I was saying a second ago, prime would be another really great option. But just again, remember that you need to actually select what camera system you're using. So full frame camera systems. These are, again, third-party lenses that you can use. Samyang, I've actually heard decent things about. So I would highly recommend those too, especially if you're on a budget. Just look at these. These are decent lenses for not that bad of a price. I would even recommend this for a vlog, not a vlog setting, sorry, but like a stationary camera setting if you're using this for like a podcast or something, unless you wanted to go a little wider. But this 24 f2.8 would actually be pretty sweet, especially for even like a podcast setup. So yeah, you know, a 24, a 35, or 70 millimeter, or something in between there. Or if you want to go wider, like a 12 to 17 millimeter on a full frame, just amazing. If you really want that wide look, you know. So one of the things that I definitely wanted to bring up in this live stream is a lot of you guys have questions that I don't have a lot of time to answer in the comment section, or they're really long. So I'm going to go through some of you guys' most frequently asked questions regarding cameras or any other questions. So I really wanted to pull those up because you guys have a lot of questions when it comes to camera systems or a certain specific question about a very specific thing regarding technology. So let me actually just pull my channel up here. Let's see. So let's look at my latest comments. Thank you, by the way, Growing Together podcast, for sticking around on this live stream. All right, so let's pull up your guys' latest comments. These are the ones I haven't responded to. Again, I try to respond to all of your comments in a timely manner when I get a chance. This is in a completely other language that I do not know what this person said. So let's start with this one. This one's a very oddball one. I think this is Russian. Okay. Thank you for this video. I'm shooting on a LUMIX G7 for my Alter More channel, and I want to improve the quality of shooting and shoot clips. I love this camera. It's my first, and I still use it. So Alter More channel. Oh, so you have a YouTube channel. Nice. Let's take a look at it and see what you got so far going on. So it looks like you just have the talking head video, talking head content. What you want. What was the question one more time? I want to improve the quality of shooting and shoot clips. I love this camera. It's my first, and I still use it. Okay. So if you want to improve the quality, I mean, I'm looking at your channel here just by looking at these stills. I mean, you're shooting in, what is it? Looks like you're uploading in 1080p. 1080p, 30 frames per second. I mean, the quality as far as this goes in HD is pretty good. If you're already, I don't know exactly what kind of, I honestly don't know what your content's about, so I have no idea, just because it's in a different language. But Ultra More Live, I would recommend, if you did want to improve the quality of your videos, if you're not shooting in 4K already, that's the first thing I would recommend. If you're using the standard color profile, I would recommend you not use the standard color profile. That's the other thing too as well, with at least with Panasonic, the Panasonic G7, the G85, the G95, or even the G100, is using the use the either Cine profile, or if you have access to the V-Log L profile, I would highly recommend using that instead of using the standard color profile. That would definitely help immediately right there if you're using the G7. And also, if you have the ability to use like Premiere Pro or even DaVinci Resolve, there's some really great color features that give you the ability to really enhance the footage that you're shooting out of. Or if you're using it in a live stream scenario like I'm using the G7 for this specific live stream. As you can see, this is right out of the camera. I'm not doing anything in OBS in order to improve the quality of the video. I decided on this time around just to keep it all through the camera going straight into the stream. So I would recommend that. But if you really did want to improve the visual quality of the actual image that's going into the camera, getting a nice lens, either using an adapter like I do, using the Viltrox or the Metabones adapter, or even if you get something proprietary like LUMIX's own lines of lenses, those do tend to produce a better image versus using the adapter, at least from what I've seen online of people test, but I would recommend that. All right, let's see. So this is actually what I've been wanting to get to, is Eben Tech Studio. This is a very detailed question, so it's gonna take me a second. So thank you very much, he says. These are my questions on the G7. So first, I'll just go straight down from here. So can I record internally at the same time streaming from HDMI output while on battery? Unfortunately, with the G7, no, you can't. The G7, unfortunately, you can't record internally while you're live streaming. So if I would hit the record button right now on my camera, the stream would actually cut, and then there'd be a little message on the screen saying recording in progress. So unfortunately, you can't do that. Number two, can I record internally at the same time streaming from HDMI output while using dummy battery to AC power for hours of shooting? So again, you can't record internally at the same time while streaming. You can, however, use your camera, your G7, stream via HDMI while using dummy battery for hours. Again, I'm using this right now. It's been 37 minutes while I've been on this live stream. Well, actually, yeah, around that. Yeah, 37 minutes while I've been on this live stream. And I've actually seen people use the G7 and have it set for a time-lapse streaming for 24 hours. I'll have to find that video. I'll have to link it for you here. But there's people that have used this camera system. I've left it outside. Obviously, you gotta be aware of the temperatures that these cameras are sensitive to. But that's one thing you want to definitely consider, is just, yeah, using a dummy battery will definitely help. Okay, so will the zoom information appear on the HDMI output screen when zoom in and out on the kit lens while streaming? So this you can actually remove. So if you zoom in and out using the kit lens, it doesn't appear. So as you see right now, none of the information is on the live stream because I removed it using the settings in the camera. So you can actually remove those settings. So none of the information appears when you're streaming. Okay, so will the zoom information appear on the HDMI output screen when I zoom in and out while streaming? When clean, yeah, so that I just answered that question. It won't. What is the zoom level in terms of X, as they are indicated on the camcorders like 25x? So this is actually a good question. I believe 25x is 25 times of whatever the focal range is on the actual camera itself. So if you see like camcorders, I know this is like a common thing with camcorders back in the day, where if it says 25x, it's multiplied by the focal length that it's set to. So like camcorders usually have like a set focal length, but then they have an optic that moves in and out that allows you to zoom in more. So it's 25 times the value of whatever that focal length is. If I stand corrected, if not, someone fact check me and comment down below, because I believe that's what it is. Okay, so will the LUMIX G7 overheat or shut down under will the LUMIX G7 overheat or shut down under outdoor live streaming operation under the sun when using dummy battery? Again, I haven't actually tested this, but here in Las Vegas, it gets pretty hot sometimes throughout the year, so I would have to torture test my G7, and right now I can't do that because it's my only camera I have. But I believe the G7 has like 113 degree operating temperature. After that, it will shut down. The one thing you do have to be aware of with any the one thing you definitely have to be aware with any camera is in the humidity. Humidity is one of the biggest killers of cameras. It's not fun to have your camera shut off because of the humidity. With the G7, I took it on a shoot one time. I was out on a grassy field, on a soccer field specifically, and it was super humid, and the camera shut off. I had to wait like 5 or 10 minutes for the humidity to basically dry off, and then the camera started working again. So that is one thing with any camera that isn't weather sealed, like the G7. That's one thing to be aware of. All right, so question 7. You have quite a few questions here. Can I disable automatic sensor cleaning while doing a live stream? I mean, I've never had automatic sensor cleaning come up while I'm live streaming. On the G7, since it is a mirrorless camera, you do have the shutter that goes up and down when you do the sensor cleaning, but I've never seen it come on during a live stream, so I'm not sure how to answer that question. Can I record internally to an MP4 format? Yes. The standard file format on the G7 is an MP4 format, so you're already doing that when you're obviously recording. But if you're live streaming, it's different. It all depends on what equipment you're using to live stream, obviously, in this case. Does it have video record limit when using dummy battery? Yes, it does. If you're recording 29 minutes and 29 minutes and 59 seconds is the record limit on the G7. And what's the big difference between the GH and the G series of the LUMIX? Okay. This is a very common question, especially when it comes to, obviously, specifically Panasonic cameras. But any camera manufacturer has a different line of cameras. Specifically, the G series includes the G7, G85, G95, G100, GH4, the old GH4, GH5, GH5S, and the new GH6. So the GH series is designed for semi-pros, even professionals use the GH series lines of cameras. There's a lot more features that they have that you may not need, like 10-bit recording. You do get better dynamic range out of using a GH5 or even a GH4 if you have the ability to find one still. And also, you have none of the features that you actually have all the features that you're looking for besides the 25x thing with the lens you're talking about, but it has the ability for it to obviously weather sealed. It's designed again for professionals to semi-professionals, depending on what you're wanting to do it, depending on what you're wanting to use or wanting to use it for. So I would recommend, in your case, for everything that you asked, the GX line, not the GX, sorry, the GH line of cameras, because of the fact that you need it to be weather sealed, because you don't want issues when it comes to dust and getting inside of the sensor area, as well as recording internally while you're live streaming. That's another thing that you can do with the GH5 or the 5S. You can record. There may be an overheating issue. That's probably the only thing you may need to be aware of with recording internally and live streaming. That could be an issue there. Man, that was tons of questions for you. All right, so here's one I haven't responded to. And hello, Seez. I have a clip of the movie Hustle, movie with Adam Sandler. Whenever I try to export the clip as a TikTok clip, it becomes very pixelated. I have no idea what to do and make it better quality. Thanks. So this is specifically my export high quality video for TikTok. So when it comes to using content, whether it's content you recorded or in this case a clip from the movie Hustle from Adam Sandler, is you need to make sure when you're exporting, specifically at least in Premiere Pro and even DaVinci Resolve, I believe has this feature, is you need to have your timeline set to the native resolution that you want it to obviously export into. So in this case, you have 1920 by 1080 listed here. So that's the resolution that you want it to be at. That's ideally the resolution you want a TikTok short or even reel to be at. But just make sure you have the highest quality set, as well as render at maximum bit depth and render at maximum render quality, at least in Premiere Pro. You didn't specify what you're using here, but I imagine you probably use Premiere Pro. This is the best way for you not to get the footage pixelated. At least from my hardware that I have. I haven't had this question asked before, but great question. And let's see what else. I know there's another question that I believe that some of you guys had. I replied to your questions here. Let's see. There was a question I wanted to answer, but I don't see it here right now, at least. No questions from the chat, but let's see. Yeah, this is a question I answered already. There was one that I wanted to answer in this live stream. I should have saved it to the side. Let's see. Oh, this is I answered that. Amazon is a scam. That's funny. Yeah, I don't see a specific question. I believe it had to do with live streaming. The live streaming content's always something that you guys have asked questions for. I tried making a video for you guys. The green screen video. Where is the live stream video? I haven't posted, I think, quite a bit ago. Let's see, live stream comments. All right, this is actually a funny question. Besides the F-bomb that's dropped in here, which, by the way, I tried answering this to the best of my ability, and yeah, legit C Walker answered accordingly. So yeah, the G7 is compatible with the Cam Link. For those of you guys wondering, that's actually what I'm using right now in order to record this stream. So agents, I have no idea how to say that name. I'm currently using this exact equipment right now, the G7, the Cam Link 4K. I'm using OBS, as you can see me right now. But yeah, it all really depends on what you are looking to do. But maybe you mess something up. Maybe your computer isn't compatible with the Elgato. Definitely have that looked at. Yeah. Okay, so here's a good question. 2 months ago, I actually answered this one already. Wait. Dang, I mean, I feel like I've answered all your guys' questions. That's the other thing too, is I try to answer all your guys' questions whenever they come about. Sometimes if it's a long question like that last one, it's pretty long question. So I had to really think about it for a second. Yeah, a lot of these are just manually focused questions. I believe I answer most of your guys' questions. But again, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in any video that I have available, specifically if it's something about a video that you have a question about, whether it's live streaming, whether it has to do with the G7, whether it has to do with anything else. I try to answer when I can. And if there is anything else related to cameras and content, I'm always looking towards answering any question. I feel like when it comes to content creation, there's so many other avenues and things that you can do with cameras, from live streaming to video editing, video production, virtual production. That's actually something that I've kind of dabbled in, haven't really gone fully into yet. But as you've seen some of my videos, the virtual backgrounds I have, obviously this is actually a real background, but in some of my other content, I've created like these virtual environments, and I've just wanted to definitely get to show you guys some of the stuff that you can do even with like entry-level, mid-grade, like semi-professional cameras like the G7. But if you're looking to buy any gear or anything, just have a look at the comments down below. I try to pin all the information to each specific video down there, as well as in the description of every video. So if you're looking for a specific piece of equipment that I used, have a look at the description of the video. And thank you guys again so much for watching. I appreciate if you got to the end of this live stream. If you got to the end, leave a comment down below. Type in Seez live stream, and I'll definitely leave a comment and comment back. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I appreciate it. Here's a video for my latest video. You can click right here for it. And as always, guys,